All right. Hello and welcome, you guys. Thank you guys for joining on in here. Let's hope all my connection it does not exit out because I don't know. YouTube has been doing too much lately, and I hope I'm not looking a little slanted. Um, but yes, so I do want to say, thank you guys for joining in here. If you're new here, my name is Petra, and welcome to Rocking with the Stars. I definitely want to hop on here during the Scorpio full moon, and this is exactly what everything is about at this time. So, the whole thing now, and this is when I want to talk a little bit about Scorpio energy. But first, before I get into it, if you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, okay, to my channel. I'm actually having a video being uploaded as we speak right now on YouTube, and I told them I was going to go on live. They might not even catch it because who knows how long it will be able to upload. But that's besides the point. So there's actually a video that is being uploaded. So say, for example, you missed the live. This will still be uploaded, but there will be a more in-depth video on my YouTube page, and you'll be able to look into that as well because I did break down scorpionic energy. But this video specifically is just about me pulling cards and see what comes up. But I did want to tell a little bit about scorpionic energy and what to expect in this kind of energy, because when we think of Scorpio, what do we think of when we think of Scorpio? Scorpio is a water sign in astrology, right? And not only that, it is a scorpion. So, but let's get into the water aspect of Scorpio. So, Scorpio energy is a water sign, but when we think of Scorpio energy, it's not like, like the little how the rivers just flow, just flow gently across. No, scorpionic energy is the depths of the ocean. It is like almost like a tsunami. Okay, that's the best bet that I can actually explain. Scorpio energy is like that tsunami that just comes in and just smacks you, and you get whiplash. You get all this, and you're like, "Wait, what's going on? What's happening?" That is Scorpio energy, right? Not a lot of people can handle that kind of intensity because it's not for everybody. But Scorpio energy being in a full moon, this is the reason why it's so necessary, because when we think of full moon is all about releasing all the things that does not serve you anymore. So say, for example, you've been going through life, right? Not having to care about what's going on, and you've been stuffing and stuffing all of these emotions. So we have all these traumas that we've literally had to endure in life, and say, for example, you've been stuffing it for so long, and now you get to a point where you're at a place where you're like, oh, wait, why are these emotions coming up? What's going on? Like, I'm crying all of a sudden. I'm yelling. I'm snapping at people. Why is this happening? Well, if this full moon with this scorpionic energy, a lot of these things that we've been stuffing and hiding, they will come up to the forefront, right? So this is why it's time for us to look at it instead of trying to cope with like escapism and trying to like, oh, let me just watch TV. Let me just go out and party. Let me go to the club. Let me go with my friends. Let me do this, that, and third. No, Scorpio energy goes to the root. It goes to the depth of why we are feeling the way that we're feeling, right? And this is why I said a lot of people don't like to look at their trauma. A lot of people don't like to look at their abandonment wounds or any of these type of things until spirit will literally, it will be divine intervention, and you will have to look at it. And this is what I talk about, like when divine intervention, this is the reason why, because with divine intervention you'll have full moons like this where a lot of these things naturally happen. Like, we are linked up with the moon, especially us as women. This is why people are like, why are you so emotional? What's going on? As water signs, us being linked up with the moon, this is exactly what happens. And you'll be like, wait, I was just doing good. I was working hard. I was doing this, is that. I got all these accolades. I have all these, like, all these certificates. I have this degree. I have all of this. But we have to understand that Scorpio is not all about intellect. It's about feeling. It's about emotions. This is what all the water signs are about. They talk about the emotions. What is feeling on the depths? Like, how are you feeling in the depths of you, right? This is stems from childhood. What happened in childhood? What are the things that happened? Did your mom leave? Did your dad leave? Did you go through rejection? Did you go through all of these different things? A lot of times we've endured all of these traumas, but we don't look at it. We just keep on going because society teaches us that, oh, we just got to keep on going. We just got to go to school. We got to go to work, get ourselves out of this. No, this is so necessary for us to look at it because, say, for example, down the line, if you don't look at it and you keep on sweeping things under the rug, then there will be a crisis, right? Then you'll have a psychotic break. And in that psychotic break, God forbid you end up in a mental hospital. God forbid something actually dramatic and traumatic happens to you and you don't know why these things are coming up. But the reason why these are coming up is because all of these years we've been through enduring so much trauma. We've been enduring so many of these things. And what happens? We just stuff it. We divert our attention to somewhere else. We look somewhere else. Oh, something else distracts us. Oh, we go into a relationship and we get distracted in those different ways, right? But now Scorpio comes up and it says, no, these are things that we have hidden within ourselves that it's time for us to look at. The things that we've been hiding underneath the rug, it's time for us to look at those things. Why aren't we looking at these things? Because it's difficult for us to endure that kind of pain. And this is what happens. This is why you have a lot of people that are emotionally avoidant, because it is scary to feel emotions. It is scary to feel that pain. It is scary to feel that heartbreak that we've once experienced in the past, that heartbreak that we experienced in childhood and in high school, in college, whatever the case it may be. That heartbreak is hard to endure. It's hard to like really sit with. So what do? We go as society and we keep on pushing and we keep on chugging. We keep on chugging. We stuff it down and in that rug. But Scorpio is like, no, we need to get to the root of this, because if we don't look at it, then guess what? Say, for example, you want to have children, that will be passed down to your children. This is why we have the generational trauma. Why does it happen? Because our ancestors didn't want to look at it. They couldn't look at it because they were in survival mode, right? Our parents didn't want to look at it. They couldn't look at it because what? They're in survival mode. So now that we have the opportunity to evolve and grow past what our parents and what our ancestors did, we have a choice to choose to evolve. We have a choice to look at the things that they didn't want to look at. We have a choice to evolve past the limitations that they acquired due to their upbringing, due to their own circumstances. And so that's why I said I love that this is a Scorpio full moon, simply because this generation and a lot of society is so used to not looking at our trauma, is so used to not looking and feeling our emotions. But now we will be forced to look at it. So this is why I said with Scorpio energy, it loves death and rebirth. But this is what it's all about. It's all about breaking those things down, breaking down that foundation that was built off of like power struggles and the lack of integrity and all of these different things. This is why it needs to be brought down. This is why the tower needs to be brought down. That is the only way that it will be able to rebirth. Because when you think of Scorpio energy, it's like the rising phoenix. What happens with the rising phoenix? It starts off literally depleted. It has to literally work hard in order to rebirth, right? So that is what Scorpio energy is all about. And this is why I said, I advise people to really surrender and allow yourself to allow the tower to fall down. Because every time that we try to hold on to it and we trying to like, no, like, I don't want it to fall down. Like, I don't want it to fall left. I don't want it to fall right. I want to tape it up. I want to put the rope down. No, anytime that we do that, this is why we're met with resistance. This is why it feels much difficult to let go and to move on into our next season. But the reason why we're asked to allow these things to fall down is so that our next season, we can be met with ease instead of resistance. We can actually flow and allow all the truth to be revealed, allow all the things to come up, allow it to be chaotic, so that after the chaos, that all the storm will subside. Everything will be able to subside because everything, we already know everything. Everything is not hidden anymore. Everything is all out into the open. So now we can acknowledge it and we can choose to move on once we know what all the things that we've been hiding from ourselves, right? So now this is why I want to pull some cards and see what the cards tell us. But I just pray and hope that we do not lose connection, okay? Because I've been dealing with a lot of like connection loss and everything like that. But That's besides the point. I'm so excited about this Scorpio energy because another thing that's been coming up um was also about like that feeling of apathy. So what happens with that feeling of apathy where you've been hitting your head against the wall and you're just like, wait, this is not working anymore. I've been trying this, I've been trying this, I've been trying this, and nothing is working. The reason why it's not working anymore is because it's time for you to try something new. It's time for you to be in a new environment. What once worked no longer works anymore, right? That one comfort food that you used to be eating all this time, and it used to just please you, and it used to feel so good. Those coping mechanisms that you used to use in order to help with getting through the pain and the trauma, those things are no longer working anymore. Those herbs are no longer working anymore, right? Why isn't it working? Because you're evolving and growing. It's time for you to develop new habits. It's time for you to put yourself in new environments that will allow you to initiate those growths and to allow you to evolve. And then the first thing that came out was honesty. So this is why I said the truth. This is a literally high time for the truth to be revealed. And a lot of people are in denial. So this is why I said, and I'm glad denial came out, because I said we're leaving from that, like the Piscean energy. And with the Piscean energy, what happens? We were stuck in the delusion and the illusion of things, right? So this is why denial is coming up. A lot of times we don't want to look at that red flag, and we try to color that red flag pink and then purple and then all these different things. But this is the truth of what's been going on. This is actually the truth that we need to be looking at. And yes, we have these stages of grief. And in the stages of grief, what is it? It's denial, right? Because, like I said, when we are letting go of an old version of ourselves and we're walking into a new version of ourselves, we are in denial. We go through that season of denial, thinking that no, like I don't need to change. Like everything has been working good. It's been working well for me. Like I got this far. I don't need to change. I don't need to put that blunt down. I don't need to do that. Like it's been helping me along my journey. It helped me with my trauma. It helped me face my fears. It helped me do this, that, and the third. Granted, those all things can be true, but we have to understand, we have to look at yourself in the now. Where are you in the present? We're not thinking about what happened in the past and what has helped you in the past get to where you are now. We're thinking about where you are in the present and how and what you will need in order to take yourself to the future, right? Into the future version of yourselves. And this is why I said a lot of times we get stuck in that denial and we're not able to face the truth, and we're not able to be honest with ourselves. We're not able to take accountability of how we are hindering our own growth, of how we are hindering our own process, because we're not choosing to look at what needs to be looked at, right? And this is why I said being honest with ourselves, taking accountability. And the way that we take accountability is first through self-awareness. We have to be aware of what we're doing. We have to become the observer of our reality. Once we become the observer of our reality, this is when we'll be able to spot, okay, what is no longer working anymore? Like we're able to spot the connections that have already dissipated, the connections that are no longer fulfilling us anymore. And just because we went to school with these people, and just because we spent so much of our years with these people, doesn't mean they will be the same people that will take us and we'll be knowing them for years and years, right? That it doesn't mean that. So this is why it's so necessary for us to be honest with ourselves and where we are along our journey. This is where it's so important for us to have our own report card. Okay, we're not in school anymore doing report cards, but this is how we become the observer of our lives and actually start grading ourselves objectively, right? And this is not to put us down or shame us or anything like that. This is to be accountable, right? Yeah, I've been spending a lot of money in this aspect. Like, I know I said I really want to save money, but I've been over here splurging. I've been buying all of these things. I've been doing this. I've been buying food. I've been going out to eat. We have to be accountable. If you say you want to save money, then you should not be saying like, oh, like, I am saving money. I just really want to treat myself, but you've been treating yourself throughout the whole week. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to take accountability. It's so necessary because this is how we're able to grow. At the bottom of the deck, we have empathy. So it's so necessary for us to have empathy for ourselves. This is why I said give yourself grace, because you are letting go of an old version of yourself and walking into a new one. Give yourself grace, and we can't all change in one day. No, it takes time. Just how it took time for you to accumulate all the trash that you stuffed underneath the rug, you got to give yourself time to start looking at all the things that comes up, right? And this is why I urge people to allow yourself to surround yourself with people that support you along your emotional journey, around along your healing journey, right? If you need to enlist